Hi everybody, Tim with Kuan Yin Healing here, having a nice gorgeous day and share a few thoughts, especially about abundance. There is so much confusion about abundance that I see people even struggling with what to believe. The truth of the matter is abundance is a vibration, but it's different than what people would think of as a money vibration. There's overlap, certainly, even prosperity. Um, a lot of people have been trained to think, well, I'll set an intention. Now, this is really good, but it's a premature step because you can't um, successfully create an intention if you don't know how to transform things. And you can't transform things if you're not aware of how they actually are. It's further along in the steps. The same thing is true of, okay, I want a specific amount of money by a specific day. This also is a good practice, but it is not the first step. And that's the problem that people run into. They know pieces, but they don't know the comprehensive program, the whole steps. Okay? Um, Setting a certain amount of money is having a definite plan. Definite plan for what, right? It hasn't been settled yet. Um, so let's step back a few things. Understand something about abundance that is going to probably challenge many of you. It challenged me for a while until I learned that I could actually do it. So abundance doesn't mean a certain amount of money. It doesn't mean a certain amount of things. Abundance means without limits. Okay? It's when I look out into my forest, I'm not expecting 732 trees. I want trees as far as the eye can see. I'm not anticipating tens of thousands of leaves. I want to see leaves as far as the eye can see. When I look in the sky, I don't want to see a certain number of stars. I want to see more stars than the imagination can comprehend. This is abundance. So think of abundance as a river. There is always water flowing in. It's not like, how can I get something? You can't stop it, right? So this is the importance of connection. But here's the thing. We tend to think in terms of scarcity instead of abundance. How can I get enough? And so, well, I better save what comes, right? Now, I'm all for saving, don't misunderstand me. But if we just try to block everything off, we end up with not a river, but a flood, right? And it's a disastrous. Um, the same thing. I wanna like spread myself and do this and do all these things, and there's got to be an inflow as well. If we don't have an outflow, right? If we're not expanding ourselves and growing and um, letting that abundance move through us, we have either a flood or we have a complete drought. There's nothing, we're downstream from the flood, right? Oh, it's never going to happen for me, so I'm just going to cut myself off from this. Where's all the water? Well, it's just upstream. Um, and then comes things like intention and specific plans. Because if the bank doesn't have barriers, right, banks, then the water just becomes a huge swamp, right? We need limits, we need channels. So we have to make some decisions. What is it you want? Why do you want this? It's amazing how many people don't know the answers to those questions. What is it you truly love? Most of us have taught ourselves to answer those questions in terms of what we think we can have, not what we really want. And so we've already cut ourselves off. You see, these are the problems. It's very difficult. So it's very useful to think as abundance in terms of these things. There's unlimited prosperity, but abundance is larger than that. There is unlimited time, okay? There is unlimited love. Now, these are challenging concepts. Let's take time, for example. I, at one point, was, I'm like everybody else. I figured the answer to everything is work harder, just work harder, just work harder. And somebody else comes along and says, no, work smarter. Okay, I got to work harder at working smarter. Uh, you know, and you just keep driving yourself in circles and circles. I finally sat down and said, okay, what would an ideal schedule look like? Okay, ideally, this is where all the things would be covered. This is my time. And I thought, well, this is ridiculous. How am I going to do that? And, you know, that intuition tickle came in and said, just do it. It's like, how? Just do it. You said it's the ideal schedule, right? Then it's ideal. Follow it. I followed it, and I had plenty of time. Honest to God. I followed it. I had plenty of time. Because now I was not headed towards continually recreating what I didn't want, which is what most of us do. Instead, I started continually headed towards what I wanted, really. Um, that's why vision boards are so powerful. They keep you focused on where you want to go. Worrying, fear, these are like praying for what you don't want. Okay? um, love. Um, Everything is love, is what energy is. Love, energy, light, vibration, it's all the same thing. There is literally nothing but we have conditioned ourselves through the ego to cut ourselves off from that and not to see that and not to really truly love ourselves. As the poet Rumi says, if you really understood yourself the way I understood my friend, um, at one point when I first really discovered this, um, you would fall to your knees in admiration and worship, okay, of you yourself. Now, what I want to say to you is that these are not vague mystical concepts. These are very, very doable things. And that's what my program, the Kuan Yin Path and the Kuan Yin Journey, are set up to help you do. Get started on the Kuan Yin Path. Simply go to kuanyinhealing.com and register. It's absolutely free. And get a taste. Find out for yourself. Namaste.